Welcome to the Andy Masterclass tutorial. I'm going to run you through a little bit of everything about Andy, how to play him, how to fight against him, and we're going to run through everything he has. So we're going to start with his normals. Real quick, he's got a pretty basic standing jab. Whiffs on crouchers, except big guys, Diamond, Maxima, and Raiden. Otherwise, it's just basic hop anti-air. Good to slap people out of the air. Sometimes they'll trade against early jump-ins, but it can work pretty well. Keep running there if they hop. Stop. It's a preventive poke, and it's pretty good. It does everything a basic stand jab needs to do, and it cancels. Select instances if it does hit. You can chain cancel it, and there are some fancy uses which I'll cover a little bit later. So moving on to his standing beat. It's a really short-range shin kick. Hits mid. Not much special about it. It doesn't cancel. Can't do anything off of no links, but the only real use for it is chaining into his target combo, just stand B, stand D. And when you do that, you can chain into his target combo into specials. So that's a little neat, and I'll talk about his target combo more later. And it's decent, not the greatest thing ever. Moving on to his far C. His far C is not as good as it is in older games. 2002 it reaches like half screen. Not the case in this game. Even in 98 it's pretty good. Doesn't really have the reach anymore, but it does special cancel now, so it's pretty good long range poke. You can space it at max range and cancel into his projectile. Unfortunately, it does not whip cancel as you see me trying to do here, so you do have to get someone to cancel it. So usually you see it as a far poke, a hop checker, so you do a block string, that. Catch him hopping anti-air, so it does control the hop space decently. When it hits, you can cancel the projectile, so pretty neat option. And that's its main use, not as overwhelming as it was before, but it's still a nice poke to have. Then you have your stand D, and this one's a little iffier. Can hit crouchers, not quite at max range. Will hit crouchers. It does hit crouchers. It does kind of have a dead spot though, or it won't. The tip, or right outside the tip range. It does have a decent reach as you're seeing it here if you're crouching. But if you stand just outside there, it'll whiff. And from that range, you can sweep it. It's active. There you go. Or hit it with a low when he's starting up because he steps forward when he does it. So if you got a long range sweep and he doesn't quite cut it, you can hit him out of the startup. So it does have its risk, and you can like whiff punish it with longer pokes. And he's not quite the best example for having a longer poke. Outrange with the fireball. So it does have its risk. Otherwise, it's also a good hop anti-air against hops. So someone's hopping in the high range. You don't want to stand jab like I tried there. I'm trying to stand jab and I'm trading. Stand D hits higher up and can cover that ground better. And as you see there, if stand D doesn't come out, you're not going to close D, which is really good anti-air against high jumps like this. Just like running under with the Yori or Kyo close C, you do the same with Andy's close D. That's the main use of close D. Now if you get a far D, that's good too. It's a little slower, but it still hits that high range, cover you or trade. Especially against late jumping. Try to jump in early, they can trade and beat it. Try to jump in late, which would convert into a combo. It's a really good anti-air for that high space with far C or something there. With I got a close C with I tried to do a stand jab. It can work, it's sort of risky. If I do that, I get more damage from that far D. So that's made you see that. Otherwise, far D does not cancel on its own. Only in the target combo does it become cancelable. Pretty neat poke, kind of like King's, but with less range. Good for controlling the ground space when you're close and the hop space. So as you can see, not a really good footsie long range poke, but it's more of a close range pressure tool. You do a block string, stop, and then you hit with the party to end it. If they tried to hop, you hit them. If they stayed on the ground and tried to do a poke or something, you can counter hit them. So it's a pretty neat poke. Stand CD is pretty alright. It's got the most range out of all these horizontal pokes. It's nothing too spectacular though, as you can see. It's alright for block strings, and you can find fancy setups for it. counter hit in the corner and stuff. So if you want to get full use out of it, set up, look for corner hit, counter hit setups, and then combo off the hit confirm from the counter hit. So that's its main use. Otherwise, it has a situational uses, not that much of an anti-air unless you really space it perfectly. Like that. But honestly, if you want something simpler, you could sweep in that instance, or DP or something. Something that comes out quicker. So it does have its uses. It's whip cancelable like all their stand CDs. So it does have some neat uses, but nothing too spectacular. Kind of like a lot of stand CDs. So you got to feel out some uses, work your spacing, or do really delayed frame traps into it, and then it can be pretty neat. So otherwise, let's go to his crouching normals. Crouching beat is his main low pressure tool. He's got a pretty straightforward crouch beat, chains into itself. So you can chain, if you want a really simple look at form, you can do crouch beat into like Zanakin or knockdown, or you can confirm off that. And you can also chain cancel it into his command normal forward A. I promise it does combo. You gotta cancel it pretty quick though, so it can be tricky when there you go, 3 hits. If you're too slow, it doesn't, so that's something you really have to work out with Andy, because hit confirming that forward A gives you a lot better damage from his B&Bs and more time to hit confirm rather than so you get more hit stun from it, which goes to cancel and combo into more specials, and just better damage overall. The plus side to just sticking with chaining crouch Bs is that it's a lot better on block. It's plus, where forward A is negative on block. So while crouch B doesn't convert too much on its own, it's a lot better for offensive pressure. And then when you want to convert to your last hit or your block string or frame trap, that's when you go to forward A, go to special or whatever. Talk about forward A a little bit more in his hit confirms. So that's his crouch B, pretty basic one, really streamlined, chains and cancels, and does everything you need it to. Chains into other lights, so even if you really want to chain into his target combo. So if you want really easy hit confirms, this is chain confirm. His chain combo is safe on block. So it only works for one crouch. If you want to hit confirm from that. So that's one of the limitations of his target combo. And I'll talk more of that just a little bit later when I start talking about his combo, getting into his combos. Other crouching normals, crouch C. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a stand C, except it's whip cancelable and chain cancelable, whereas far C doesn't. So it's got more cancelability properties, but it's has a little less range. Actually about identical range. So for max range, it's hard to convert it into his optimal special that's rolling 2-habit. Break, which I'll talk about, but it's a pretty good frame trap poke. You're used to a Street Fighter low strong, about the same thing. You can't link into it by any means, but it's a nice poke. Good for frame traps, like you see there. It's not combo, or might not combo between that spacing, especially you see from max range. It creates a gap, so pretty neat tool to use occasionally. Certainly not the bread and butter of pressure offense. So here's his crouch A, pretty basic crouch jab. It's not too useful since his crouch B hits low and chain cancels. And stand A does chain cancel into itself and others, but really crouch B does everything you need it to. So the only reason you use crouch A is for really situational anti-airs, and those are too wacky for me to demonstrate. Otherwise, it is slightly better on block than crouch B. So if you actually want to do a fancier frame trap, you could actually do crouch A to get a tighter frame trap or block string going. Since it's about probably 1 or 2 frames better on block than crouch B. That's just me feeling it out, just general KOF specifics I'm running by unit. So otherwise, not much use for crouching else. So the only other crouching normal to talk about is and if you look at this, it's up quite high off the ground, just like Chun-Li sweep or Yori sweep. And so because of this, it's one of the better trick players. And as you hopefully know by now, if you whip a jump in KOF, you're not able to block. So here I have the dummy set to all guard. I programmed him to jump and then block as soon as he lands. So let's say we'll try to hit him. See, he blocks after that. So if I try to hit him when he lands scan CD or something, he's able to block. If I hit him when he lands at the low, it's unblockable because there's recovery frames when you land. So if you whip a jump in, that's a big no-no at times. But if you got a sweep that hits up high like this, it's even better trip for there because you don't have to wait for him to get to the ground. So you're able to hit them much higher before they even come closer to the ground. So that makes Andy's sweep one of the best, certainly one of the best sweep anti-airs in the game. Definitely one of the better anti-air normals in the game. Since it's able to slap people out of the air so well, it's got a lot of range. So you can really keep people out with it. Hit them at max range. You can poke at them with fireballs, bait the hop, tag them at that far range. Now, one of its limitations is it's not as good up close. See how it's really iffy in this situation. It doesn't hit up high or so close to Andy's body, and so that's a limitation of it. So you don't want to really use it in those close vertical anti-air situations because it could lose to deep jump-ins like it might here. Winning because I'm doing it too early. So against late jump-ins, it can have issues. So you can lose the cross-ups just like that, or trade. So whenever they're jumping in really deep on you, you don't want to use it because he's got better anti-air. You want to use something like stand D, DP, or even air-to-air situations. Neutral jump D, hop back D, hop D, jump C. I'll talk about these in a sec. So sweep is definitely very good anti-air. It's also a good whip punisher, good for frame traps. You know, really basic one, crouch B, sweep, a really standard block string. Beatable by hops if you hop over the sweep, and you can definitely hop over the startup of this guy. This block string. It's pretty tight. But it's definitely doable just like that. So it's not as unbeatable as it used to be in arcade, but it's still definitely something to be reckoned with. You know, still good for footsies. Got a lot of range to it. It's certainly like his most useful grounded poke in terms of range. A little bit more reach and scan CD probably, about identical, but much less startup. The only real weakness of the move is the anti-air against vertical jump-ins, vertical deep space approaches, and then also you can't whiff cancel it, or especially cancel it on block. So it is what it is, and you can't really get anything extra off of it. But it's not as, it's pretty neutral on recovery, unlike Iori sweeps. You're not going to die by having it blocked, so it's certainly more abusable than Iori's. So real quick, I forgot to talk about his stand C, close C, and close D, and those are important. Close D was mainly a good anti-air, like I showed you before. Really good for running forward, hitting with that. It can also hit standing opponents, and it does special cancel. So it's alright for that. So it's a little better than Iori's in that regard, since his doesn't cancel. But one weakness is that while it does hit crouches up close, it does have a dead angle spot that can whiff. And if you accidentally trigger the whiff and they crouch it, you could get punished right here, and that can hurt really hard. So you gotta be aware of this range if you're playing Andy or playing against him. If you're playing Amy, of course, you do not want this to happen. If you're playing against him, you could really set up for this as a really good footsie setup to blow him up with a sweep or crouch B as he whiffs his stand D or far D. But otherwise, in terms of hit confirming and block string and punishing, you usually use close C. When he his close C hits twice and it cancels on the first hit or the second hit. So it's really easy to hit confirm from. And you could also chain it in 4-day. There's usually open combo, whatever you want. If you want to do that though, sometimes don't cancel on the second hit in the 4-day, although it does work in certain spacing. It's working a lot here, so there you go, it does work. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really easy to confirm here. So what I'm doing is close C, chain cancel that in the 4-day, close C, 4-day, close C, 4-day, stuff. So there you go, really basic combo chain that pretty much every character has in KOF, especially 13. Pretty simple stuff, really easy to hit confirm because you got these 3 hits, 1, 2, 3, and during that time you can see if it hits or not. You need to practice, set the dummy to random guard. So we go 1, 2, 3, go into your knockdown special. That would be his. And then if you see the block, go to special fireball. So the reason I don't recommend always doing 1, 2, 3 close C into forward A on the second hit is because on block it won't go. See, so that's why you usually see players do 1, 2, so you cancel the first hit close C into forward A. Because if they block, you're with them there and you can get swept or punished, or certainly drop your block strength. That's why the usual thing is just a quick 1, 2 instead of getting the full 3 hits. But even with that, you're still able to hit confirm really simple stuff. Really not for it. You know, if you want something really simple, go into the projectile because it's the safest thing on block. The only way to punish it is by guard rolling, and then on hit, you usually go into his launching kick. So that covers his grounded normals. So now his jumping normals. He doesn't have too much in the way here. One thing to note about Andy is that his hop is very floaty compared to the rest of the cast. Now this has benefits, meaning he can cross up standing opponents like Minimaru can. There's some characters can't hop over standing body, but this backfires because he's in the air longer. It's easier to react to him jumping and then anti-air. You have more time to catch him in DP or whatever your anti-air choice is for the situation. So that's definitely one of his downsides overall, just because that extra air stalling time slows down his offensive momentum. But the main plus of it is that you do have more cross-up setups. So in terms of crossing up, as you're seeing me doing, and jumping in, his main tool for all this is pretty much a jump to you, just like Minimaru. As you see, it has a lot of range right here, so it's really easy to tip someone to approach. And this can be hard to anti-air with normal attacks. You almost need a DP to stop this. Try to jab it, your results may vary. You can trade, or they jump in a little earlier to approach. You might not have enough time to react to your attack out. Try to do stand D there, so try to do stand D, you're getting hit out of it. So definitely good for approaching, and it hits overhead. So you know, it's really good when you're on top of someone for your offensive main rush down tool. Easily combo off of, as you saw before, you can cross up with it. Easy on crouchers. Of course, you want to work your setup so you can cross up with timing. Like me. Here's one now. There you go. So, decent cross-up. They toned it down a little bit because it was a little wacky before, or maybe, I think they actually made it better. I don't actually remember. It's on the SOK wiki if you're really interested, but it's definitely a pretty good cross-up. It's really annoying to deal with because it's high jump hard, just like Minimaru's. So definitely pretty much an all-rounder. And you saw me do before, it's a good air-to-air. You meet people in the air with it really well because it's got horizontal and vertical range. And it can also be used to stop offensive approaches. So and he wants to run forward this time. When he's running forward, you can run into it from a neutral hop. So doing it from a neutral hop or a backwards hop controls a lot of space. So you can use it from air-to-air really well to approach. It does just about everything. But the only real downside of it, along with this floaty hop, is that it overextends his hitbox. So as you see here. So because Andy stuck out his leg, he got hit by the DP here. If he had done nothing, so just empty eyebrow wound space is possible against some DPs. You know, you could bait him, or against some anti-airs, you could escape there. So it's definitely a really minor but important weakness to be aware of. And he really doesn't have any other good jump-ins. Jump C is pretty terrible. It doesn't have much of a use. It doesn't hit crouchers. It's not very fast. If you need to air-to-air, jump D, or jump C is better. So you pretty much never use it. Jump A is like the same attack, really the same animation. Really terrible in that regards too, except for really gimmicky air-to-airs. So really when you're jumping in, your main overhead foot is jump T. It has nothing else. It's that simple. So that's definitely a little downside to them. But in terms of adding another jump in, you got jump CD. There's two little hitboxes on it. So one of them is about here. So that's the high hitbox, and this one makes it a really good air-to-air. Since it's really high, it's up really far in front of them, it's really horizontal. And there's a secondary hitbox too. Pause on it, kind of around there. It's hard to pause on it. There you go. You can see how that downward kick. There we go. There's the second hitbox. It's right around there. So it wheels between those two very quickly. So it's able to control the airspace and then also work down lower as a jump in. So just like King's jump CD to multi-fronted approach, jump in and also stop air-to-air to jump out of zips. Catching jumping up. So a really nice tool on the offense. So what do you want to watch out for with this move? Basically, if you want to do it really early, is an air-to-air to get the most effectiveness out of it. Early like I'm doing here. And this pretty much dominates the airspace. It's really hard to beat this move just because the hitboxes are so good. But when you're doing it so early here, see how it's always going to whiff on the standing and crouching opponent. So if you do it too early there, trying to read out, an air-to-air setup, like say we've been hopping on launch, you could get caught by a trip guard for whiffing. So you definitely don't want to do that. That's the weakness. So then if you try to do it later to get crouchers like I'm doing here, you're more vulnerable to being anti-aired by jabs and normal attacks. So that's pretty much the way it works. You do it early to dominate the airspace, or you time it a little bit later to get low. And mistiming either does have its consequences and its counter, as I've shown you. So you definitely want to be aware of that, and certainly don't jump around minus. Otherwise, it's very good, and if it counter hits, you can combo off with it pretty much anywhere on the screen. Really easy follow-up, just do a Dan Aiken. No, that's not going to work. So, I don't know what the best one is yet, but certainly Dan Aiken's really easy now. And he loves it. Pretty much always hits. So certainly an easy way to tack on extra damage from a really good attack, really good air-to-air and approach. And unlike his other jumping moves, so the opponent likes to backdash to wake up, to escape mix-ups. Because if you're hit up and backdash, you're airborne. See how he's hit resetting out of it every time. It's also good for stopping it because you can jump CD out of their backdash. And of course not. So that's a pretty good occasional situation to be aware of. Just always forces that soft knockdown. You could react to the quick tech and throw them or do whatever you want. So that covers his jumping normals aside from jump B, which I'll cover really quickly. Jump B is pretty much just a quick high air-to-air. It's a little faster than jump CD, and a little faster than jump T. It's a little bit higher, so it does have its uses. Very specific situations. You could air-to-air somewhere, get like a run under. Air-to-air jump with a hop. Front, depending on how you hop or hyper hop at them, or behind me. Granted, you could do the same thing with jump D in a lot of instances, not every. And if you want a less gimmicky jump in, because this is going to whiff on crouchers. So if you mess up, all they have to do is stay crouching or blocking and then punish you. Just because of that, you're better off really sticking to jump D air-to-air, something safer, or DPing if you need to really quick anti-air. Andy doesn't really need to rely on that much, so you don't need to do it that much. So you won't get hurt for messing it up that much. So that's all good. Moving on to his specials for now. First thing is his projectile. It's the jab version. It's got really good projector, pretty good recovery, goes full screen. And if they try to jump over it, say, jump in on you, of course they can't punish you, so I'll show you the weakness real quick. So it comes out really far from his body, so it's not a really good anti-air against people jumping in on you, just because it starts up so far away from Andy and he stretches out his arm when he's doing it. So it's really not going to help when people are trying to jump in on you. So obviously in those situations you want to stand or bait him to jump in with the DP or the sweep or whatever you want through anti-air, air-to-air, whatever your preferred method is in the situation. But if they do jump it, say for full screen, you can do a ST fireball trap. If you're like full or half screen, you might be able to throw it out, motion jump it, catch it. And of course, this is good against jumps, not against hops. So let me show you one of the weaknesses of the fireball, and a lot of fireballs in the game actually. So here we have it trying to hit the trap. You see I try to jump it. I hit before I could jump in there. Now if I hop from that range, you saw that I was able to hop the fireball. There we go. Just a normal hop goes over a lot of fireballs in this game now. And because the hop is not in the air as long, of course, you're less likely to get hit by the trap. You might even bait like a DP for them trying to hit directly. So really good stuff there. Good way to just keep yourself safe from any anti-traps. That's definitely the way to go. You really want to get in against them, this fireball. Otherwise, you can block. Stick with blocking. Play a fireball or use the EX move or something that goes through fireballs. Or neutral jump, neutral hop. Neutral hop's pretty good. It's a little harder than the neutral jump, but you recover quicker and you can run forward and projectiles still on the screen, so you have less time to throw another fireball at. Basic stuff you should be familiar with if you've played any of the 2D fireball heavy or zoning games, especially Street Fighter 2, any of them, the versions. So there's all that. And of course, there's blocking, run forward block, all that. So then he has the heavy version, which is faster, it has worse recovery, so it's harder to DP after they jump it, as with any heavy fireball. So otherwise it's faster, it's good for poking, really good for a zoning game, testing their spacing with fireballs, their patience, setting up for anti-air, DPing, running forward and sweeping them. Really basic Shoto style gameplay you can run there if you really want to, if you really like the matchup, where you might zone them out or lame them out, where you like feeling out how they play. So always a good option for Andy with his tools. And his fireball is safe on block, so it's good block strings. It's just that you do have to watch out for guard rolls, because any block string fireballs can get punched on a guard roll. You have to time it right quick. So, as with anything, it does have a risk. Even like Farseed and Fireball, is punishable in that regard. Granted, it's hard to read it. But it's something to be aware of. That's pretty much the case with any projectile in the game. So, it's pretty standard. He's not really able to follow it up like other characters. Maybe from full screen he can run a little bit forward in DP or something, but not nearly as much as Joe or even King. So that's that. EX version does cause a knockdown, unlike the other versions. So if you're in a fireball war and you throw it out and get them, the EX version goes through normal level fireballs. You're able to run forward when they get knocked down and close the gap, or push it back further and play your game further. So that's mainly what the EX is for. So moving on to the next special is DP. We've got the jab version, which is lower body invul, but faster. And this one's really consistent and really good anti-air with a lot of approaches and whatever. You can trade in instances like that, so it's not completely invul. But if you get it out early, it's pretty much always going to win. Because it comes out so fast, it covers a lot of range. Now, if you're worried about trading, you can use the heavy version, the C version, still can trade very specific instances, but it has more invul and it goes a lot further forward and higher to the air. It is a little bit slower, but it's still really good on reaction, especially jumps. Hops, it might be a little iffy because they're hard to react to, between a neutral hop, back hop, deciphering between a hop like this where it might whiff, or rather if they hyper hop there from max range. So, of course, it's going to be difficult against hops, but it is doable. Even if you only get the last touch of the scoop on. Now, the EX version is pretty much a combination of both. Moves forward really far, a lot more than one. So you can use it to move through fireballs and stuff. Really, Shin Shoryuken or something. But otherwise, it's not really too much of a reactive C version in a lot of instances in terms of anti-airing. It's also a pretty decent reversal, but it's safe jumpable, so it's fairly slow. So take note of that and kind of be aware of the heights where they're jumping in if it's too late to DP on wake up. Otherwise, yeah, it's decent in combos. The jab version, you see the drive cancels, and that's mainly it. Now let's move on to Andy's signature move in this case. It's down back forward punch. It's not a charge move actually. It's straight up just a command. So you can just do it over and over and over. No charge needed. Really simple to combo into. It combos from light attacks. Causes a knockdown. The white version combos from light attacks. The C version is slower. And it's less plus on block. So it's not as or it's more negative on block. So both versions are negative on block. So you definitely do not want to throw out the C version unless you really know your setup like there. Set it up and throw them or something. But moving on to the jab, we'll mainly talk about the jab version because that's the most important one here. So you see it moves it forward and it builds in. And far ranges like this is pretty safe to whip. So that's why you see a lot of setups like after his throw. We'll usually do Xanakin just to build meter and then move into a spacing for a cross-up or a sync jump or something. So you see people tacking on to build extra meter or using it about 100 times in a combo or block range. And if you really want to throw it out randomly, you can option select drive cancel off it. So that's just doing the motion, just down back punch. And then you buffer, in this instance I'm going to buffer is after 40 hit. So you just do that. Random guard on just to show I'm not confirming this or anything. Block. There we go. It'll come out automatically on a drive cancel. Just a little. So you can, it's a move you can option select buffer or drive cancel on if you really want to tack on extra damage from one. Note this doesn't work with supers because they happen on block or hit. So that's not going to be any good, so you don't want to buffer a super off that. You can buffer an EX move to get you better mileage. If you really need that. Not always the most effective use of a drive cancel, but I'm just throwing it out there so you know if you ever need to tack on extra damage or whatever from it. Otherwise, you see it's really annoying because it can be really safe on block and do good guard damage. So it's nothing too overwhelming, but over time that can add up to just blocking multiple attack strings. That wasn't a good example. So it can slowly annoy you if you, over time. So you can definitely get work towards a guard break, especially in conjunction with moves like this EX That takes off quite a bit on its own, and it's really hard. It's totally safe on block, so we can press a button afterwards and get your block stream. Something like that. See, it takes off a lot, so you can see how he's able to sneak in guard breaks with that. So let's talk about why Xanakin can be really dumb in the lane. That's because it's safety on block. See, after blocking, you can push back so far away you really can't hit him with any light attack, and you're certainly not going to get a close C because you're too far away, and a lot of heavy normals are too slow to punish anyway. It's not punishable by most conventional moves. Now there are ways to punish it, and they're really important to know. So I got one. So here's a basic block string, 3 crouch beats and Xanakin. And for some characters this can be really difficult because they don't have any good punishment. I'm trying to show you there. One that actually does work is Andy's jab. It's really fast. Really fast horizontally. So in this case, Andy does have an answer to his own stupid stuff. Something like crouch beat or Xanakin. And this actually, I tested it, and this one actually works. So there we go. And characters with DPs generally have really good answers to this. Some people have metered answers to it. I don't know about Andy. You might be able to shoot out an EM or EXEM. I haven't tested everything in the game, so I don't know. And as you saw there, I got hit kind of buttons. That's too slow. So yeah, you definitely want to, if you're fighting against Andy, know what can punish Anakin on block, because that's very important to have something to get him off of you. Otherwise, you just have to deal with it, and then he gets pushed back to around this spacing where he could hit you below, sweep you, try to re-hop, hit you projectile, pretty much do anything and be in a good position. While he is negative, he's still got that positional advantage, such as, if he has you in the corner, he's still got you locked down there. You can just do a stand B there and keep it from jumping out of the corner, watch for a jump to DP, do anything with your hop to. So it's definitely good spacing for him. So always be aware of what you can do to punish it. Now if you don't have anything to punish it, there is another answer in the corner. And it's really hard to do. You have to guard roll backwards when you know he's going to do his Anakin. So very situational, but I'm showing this just as a last resort. So there you go, you saw it. He did 3 crouch Bs in his Anakin. A really basic block string. If you know they're going to cancel into the Anakin there, or let me give you another one example. And I'll cancel it. She's blocking. So he's already down back blocking. So that was a true punish. So there you go. That is a universal option if you really do need something because your character has absolutely no answer to it other than guard cancel CD to go along. Granted, it doesn't do too much damage and it wastes the whole move. So it's kind of iffy. It's only really good as a last resort to keep yourself from getting guard broken. So hopefully that out of the way, that covers about everything about Anakin. As you saw, it's really good for building media. You can do it about 100 times in his combos. One combo, and it built like a whole bar of meters you saw down there. So really good battery character. Super blocks, things like that will slowly add up one time and get you out of doing projectiles and stuff. So he's definitely can run a lot of good stuff on battery, and he has really good drive canceling. I'm terrible at anti-combos. So to do that, I tried to drive cancel there. I'll just skip it for now. But really a simple 1 meter, 1 drive combos, or you could use them like secondary or anchor. So he really fills any position. He's got a lot of tools, good DPs, good punishes, like having that quick jab anti-air or punish, anti-air and punish, like against Anakin in certain difficult moves like Eeyore's Rekka. He does lack a really long ground approach. You can make it up to that with his sweep, jump D, or his projectile for his Anakin, as long as you're careful with it. One other Anakin trick I didn't show yet is starting move. So at the start of a round, you do his Anakin, you'll whip, and then you can go for a throw. So if you're familiar with how Blanca can whip a Blanca ball at the start of the round and throw you, it's like that, but a little not as hard to escape the throw, and there's a way to beat it. And of course, you can try to hop, hit him with something. But if you try to stick out a poke, you might get, hit out the startup. Or you could hit him out the startup before you get hit though, depending on time. So it's risky. Nice opening move against this tactic, aside from blocking and maybe getting hit. Or getting hit or being put in that bad situation where he's right in front of you, aside from mashing and crouch B or something silly. As I've found to usually jab and chain cancel or something. I guess crouch B would work in this case with Andy, since that's all he's got really with canceling or into canceling. You could buffer that into a special, or you do it a few times to keep him out. And there's really not much you can do in terms of Anakin on it. You can throw a projectile. You can stop. You can throw out 2 or 3 and stop blocking time. So if you're smart about it, it's a pretty safe opening. And another cool opening is to walk back and jab. you worry about that 10 can start. And people buffer that into other stuff. There's an example of the chain canceling stand jab I mentioned. So if you want to be a really cool motherfucker, you do that shit. So that covers about all those ground normals, specials, except this guy here. Two-header, or I call it the moon kick or whatever. Call it whatever you want. Kick. It's pretty safe on block unless you got a command grab. So don't try to press C because you're not going to get a punish. You can get hit by gate frame traps because it's safe. So, you know, there's the dreaded two-head into DP if you try to do something. Maybe the CDP is the better choice. There we go. I got a punch there trying to do post C. So while he is in a bad situation, as you saw on block, he could get normal throwing possibly, or hit by a low. He has to kind of guess to stand up and tech, hold back and C, tech to high. Doing that will result in him losing to crouch beats. So that's a kind of iffy 50-50 where if you want to just take it, you have to crouch block and help the authority. So definitely not a good situation to put yourself into. Otherwise, you'd have to do something risky like backdash or DP out of it. So it's not something you really want to have blocked, even if it can be punished by certain characters. So, but out of the two normal versions I throw out, usually we throw out the right version. It's standing and crouching opponents. That where the heavy version flies over their head, and the recovery is quite punishable on there. So whiff on crouchers, you can have to sweep you, or even get like a close C. So you definitely don't want to throw a heavy version. Heavy version is good as really wacky like air to air, because it's hard to beat the box. Yeah, but otherwise you wouldn't really throw the heavy version outside of combos. The light version has that really good hitbox too. It's easy to trade with it, but it's hard to beat it cleanly. Then you gotta really space your movement perfectly. And a lot of times you're not gonna have the time to see it coming. You have to match it normal like that. Even the speed can trade or boost depending on the time. Yeah. So it's really risky to stick a button out. If you got a DP, you can go to that for time and with it, but you have to be looking out for it. So the safest option then in terms of being a realistic counter is to crouch block. Now, if you crouch block it up really close, he can fly over your head like that. If that's the case, it's good because you can run forward and sweep him. Sweep him, or if you really got your stuff down, stay crouching. It's possible to actually run forward and punch recover, but the timing can't be really tight. That was a true punish. It's really tight, but if you want something simple, crouch block. Now, you saw earlier that some wacky stuff can happen where he flies over you and crosses you up, and that can be hard to deal with. Right there, it looks like it could have or something. So what I do usually is hold down back. I hold down back to block the front attack. Just in case it does cross up. After I block the first hit, I hold down forward. So as you see, there's a down back input and a down forward input. And if you get hit by one hit, you'll stay in block stun. And you don't have to worry, you can hold any direction once you block the first one, like here. Now I hold up, and I'm obviously not going to jump because I'm in block stun. So you can pretty much option select the cross up, down backing, and down riding, as you can call it. So that's a good way to avoid getting crossed up at the last second of the move. So as long as you watch out for the cross up and you know you're punishing the recovery, obviously you don't want to go into that move and then try to as trying to do this break E-action, which we'll talk next about. You can avoid it. So it's definitely not something that you want to throw out too much. Yeah, it has a good hitbox, it's kind of negative, it could be anti-air to trade, beat it with a super or invincible move, trade with it, and then it's negative, sometimes punishable, and then if they crouch, you can get blown up. So definitely not the best move to throw out. Not as a projectile or safe as a projectile, or even. The other thing you can do with it is cancel it. That launch kick you seem to do for combos. And so as you do there, it's half circle forward kick, and then as soon as you press kick, you press both kicks immediately. you don't do it late, that's too late there, you saw. You do it right before you can see people start up. Break it. The term breaking comes from Garo, where you could basically cancel move short. Same principle. Yeah, so you cut recovery short, which lets you combo more. So usually you see it in all the B and Bs. You get juggle hit off the mid screen. If you go for a sweep, move forward. It's like a common thing you see is 1, 2, launch, sweep, Xanath, gain ground. So, you know, pretty neat corner carry, or semi-corner carry, half-spring carry, again with a lead mirror from the Xanath. You got some other fancy stuff you can do, like quick damage. Really fancy, you can do a crossing here. Practice this can get really tricky. So you can run for a hit reset to Xanath and land on the other side. There you go. So what I did is run forward, close C to Xanath, hit reset. And you got to be careful to avoid getting the DP. To avoid the DP, you can do down, back, up, forward. And that way you'll avoid the DP because you're ending with an up forward motion, so the game prioritizes the up forward because you're not trying to DP. So you can play around. You got those setups you can really sacrifice damage for mix-up. And mid screen, really, you're not getting too much damage from his basic moves. As you saw in the corner, comboing into that launch kick is essential. And not the normal version. The normal version is a C. You let you tech on that DP, but that's not that not as optimal damage, and it's crappier. If you're iffy on block. Combo a lot longer than combo. That was combo to launch, jab Xanath, DP. If you're really interested in the combos, I'll listen from the SRK guide. I don't want to go too much into how to do and stuff here. Just that takes a tutorial. But yeah, and then you can drive cancel that. Drive cancel that DP. Launch kick. Forgive me, it's so terrible right now. I've had a little bit of trouble with Andy because he's a little trickier for some of his combos. Chaining into 4-day is a little tricky, and sometimes you have to be careful not to get his Xanath when you're trying to do things like you can try to do. Sometimes you get TP into Xanath if you're not getting really good. You don't want that. So the trick for that is to forward, down, forward, or you have to go back forward. Well, that's definitely not good. You can't do short with that. So yeah, keep it clean and avoid getting DP into Xanath. And unless you really need DP into Xanath for a combo, which. There you go. So I did the launch there, and you can continue comboing after that, and that's that one drive extension I was talking about that makes him a very efficient, low or point character for attack match damage when you need to. Yeah, otherwise on combo-wise, hit confirm chains like I told you. You got 3 crouch Bs, Xanath or something. Crouch B that really only combos into like Xanath, the jab version, and that's why you need to be able to confirm 4-day. Just to confirm 4 damage, because you can do crouch B, 4-day, flying, break to Kuha. There you go. Granted that didn't combo, because we don't have time. There you go. So it works from 2 crouch Bs. Next, we do 3, it won't work. So Andy's got that rule too, that you can see in the bottom video. So you know you get one jump in, two crouch B. You can do like one jump in, crouch B into anything. But in terms of his main B&Bs, you got like one hit being jump B. So 1 to 2 into 3 4 to so really simple stuff there. The reason you don't want to use the chain combo too much for his B&Bs is because it doesn't combo into the rolling kick. When you start from a crouch B at least. Whiffs. So while that is a really easy combo you can use, aside from being in the corner, or not even in the corner, it never combos into the flying up kick. So really his chain combo is usually used for really simple block strings, or well, you can turn it into a block string, or stop it there and keep it safe. But the main reason you pilot into that series rather is pretty much looking for HD mode hit confirm. So you can do 1, 2, or go into whatever. Into his HD combo. HD combo is pretty simple. It's just to the up kick, so you just do Xanax. That's his corner carry, and then you max whatever you want to do. And of course, when you get him in the corner, you can tack on some extra hits for more damage, but otherwise it's really simple as long as you actually know how to do Xanakin and Kuhan, unlike me. So I won't do it. So this combo is really simple, not too much damage mid-screen conversion from the up kick, but you do get some cool setups and nice positional advantage. Once you get in the corner, you can really build meter with his combos. He doesn't need too much, although you can use like a meter or two into certain setups at least. You really need to tack on extra damage or whatever you need. Not too useful or essential for his main stuff. And really in terms of meter, he doesn't gain much utility. EXP isn't anything special. EX projectiles only good in Fireball Wars. The supers aren't really good utility moves. Not really good for throwing out. So definitely doesn't need meter to function well, and he builds quite a bit. So that's why he's a very popular first or second character, just for the battery effect, since he's good for it. And not going to burn too much meter unless you actually do have, like 2 bars in HD, so that you can do like 80% HD combo in video games. Speaking of the supers, they're not too special in terms of utility, like I said. This one here is startup and boom. A little bit of startup and boom. So you can catch people out of stuff. Although since it's so slow, you'd be better off DPing usually. It's highly unsafe on block with some crouchers. All they have to do is block. For competitive recovery. The only thing you want to look out for after you block it is to not run into it, because he stays active all the way. So don't run into the tail end of the rainbow, or you can die, get really frustrated. So keeping that in mind, just like with this other run, heavy version, don't run into it when he's flying in the air, otherwise you can get knocked down. There you go. So be careful of that, and then you can punish it as long as you recognize how to beat it. So just avoid the initial error, walking into that, and you'll save yourself some frustration. Otherwise, there's not too much about that super. It's good in combos, good for max cancel, and you can link off of it there, as you saw. They increase recovery speed, so certain things link off of it. Turn the meter on. Not that I'm not sure about his meter build. There you go. So if you really needed a really simple HD combo, like say you don't have a feel for him yet, you could use something simple like you can go into super quick enough. Make that at the end of a combo. with max amount of hits out of his neomax. Otherwise, you can max cancel it. Max cancel it with air, Xanakin, and Octopus. Whichever one works better, or feels better for you. I think letting the super hit and linking the neomax, of course, is more damage efficient. But due to timing and certain constraints, you might have to do max cancel sometimes. And you can't max cancel his other super. Now this guy here is mainly a combo ender in the corner or so. It's a big fireball. Combos from his forward A. And also does combo from lights. So you really know how to buffer, back that on from his crouch Bs for a decent combo instead of going into Xanakin. You could go into the EX Xanakin. I forgot to talk about EX Xanakin. Pretty much like I just showed you there, you can link after it. You can link out the normal version. So I guess it's about identical. Really the main thing then is that it's completely neutral, pretty much on block, so there's no way to punish it. So you remember that Andy's jab DP can punish the normal version. The EX version is safe. Pretty much no punishing. So that's the EX version I forgot to talk about. I think I forgot to talk about the EX version, so I'll go through those real quick. EX Kuhara does not whip on crouchers. And it launches on hits, so you can really easily combo after it in a lot of instances. So, let me show you. See, it looks like it can cross up, and it really does. And it doesn't have that problem of whipping, so you can't really punish it on block. Granted, you can get around it in a few ways. Guard rolling, but it's 100% safe on block, so there's nothing you can do about it. Except like guard or use a guard cancel. Once you block it, it's too late for anything but guard cancel. Now it can be punished by guard roll, 1, 2, 3. You can guard roll back on the third hit. So that's pretty much the only way out. Otherwise, it's invincible on startup. It's got a little bit of startup invul, not too much. Just enough to fly through like pokes and catch you on the recovery. Or be a somewhat competent reversal or mashing out in a block stream. And since it's safe on block, sometimes people are just going to throw it out because why not? It does a lot of guard damage. And you're at neutral, so you can't be punished. So if you really don't like that mix-up where he's right in front of you, taking all that block damage, and then having him maybe throw you or DP you at a bad case, look for that third hit, and then guard roll, and then punish with a close C. 1, 2, 3. We're usually in close C range right after that, so there you go. Now the other versions you can punish too, the light version mainly. You guard roll on the second hit. 1, 2. There we go. So if you don't want to crouch block and risk getting crossed up or whatever, messing up the timing, you can guard roll backwards on the second hit and go into a close C. So there's that. If you really don't like dealing with that move, you want to spin a meter, any character in the game can roll back and punish it. So a good option to keep in mind. And it's 100% consistent. You don't have to worry about guessing since you can already hit confirm it or block confirm it, I guess. Rather than when trying to guess when he's going through Xanakin, because he could mix up his timing. So it's hard to read when a Xanakin can come in a long string like that. So definitely a lot easier to escape from it in Xanakin with guard roll. And of course you can do it anywhere on the screen, so you don't have to be pointing. So nice answer to that. So moving back to this Fireball Super. Sorry about messing up the order. How's the knockdown with boost damage? Not really good for any utility uses. It's slow. It's not star different, so you can get a hit out of it. So you definitely don't want to throw it out randomly. You could use it as a really fancy anti-air like that, but you really honestly be better off reacting to do something. You get more damage, more consistent, a lot faster, not wasting meter. So I don't know why you'd want a fancy setup like that. Otherwise, it is safe on block. That's the only other important thing about it. So say you messes up a combo, catch you with something, hit by it. It's insane. Block. Would counter poke it. Pushes you out really far. The only way to escape it is the guard roll on the first hits. So you pretty much have to guard roll before that explosion. Otherwise, they'll be able to hit you. And it's hard to roll through. It recovers really quick. And if you roll, if you just do a normal roll, you usually run into it. So you pretty much have to guard roll. Otherwise, the only way to punish it is going to be to use an invincible move. Or really invincible move. That's not going to do it, huh? He doesn't really have to, unless his neomax does it. There you go. So you need something very invincible, just like that. And now, as you did see right there, it does do a counter hit wall bounce. And explosive hit. But if the actual projectile part hits as a counter hit, then nothing. So it's really hard to set up for that move to hit. But you could tack on some really fancy follow-up for sure if you do it. Not really efficient or no really good setups for those or guaranteed setups. So you pretty much just have to really work to get that, so it's not very useful now. And honestly, I didn't know about that until now. So yeah, supers aren't really great for anything. The only super that you can really throw out recklessly is his Neomax, which is a Super Zanakin. Now, there's a grounded and aerial version that behave identically. It flies across the screen and then elbows you. And now the grounded version is not safe on block, so you don't want to have it blocked, obviously. The air version is, and you can Tiger Knee it or do whatever things you want. And on block, see how it flies through you, so there's no way to punish it. Unless it whiffs like that, but even then you can block. So that's the only way to punish it there, is if it lands and it guarding. Usually he'll fly through you and there's no way to catch him. And you're just going to have to deal with it. So you can really fish for an air-to-air or something, just to catch him and snag him out of the air. So if you know Andy's in HT mode, or you're in HT mode, you can fish around for a whiff, or hop around and see him take to the air. Might be able to catch one reaction and slam him at the last second to the your HD. Fighting against Andy, you would definitely not want to hop around or give him anything to react to, because he's just going to elbow you and you lose 45% if you'll done. And then you can bait it. You could maybe punish him if he does the grounded version. Just the air version, you can't punish him, but he will waste all the meter and HD, so it's definitely a very good bait. So that covers the basics about Andy, hopefully. Otherwise, basic block screens, frame traps. You're familiar with any standard fireball traps, and basic rush down, like in my Logic Fighter article or LeBron's Rule 2 or 3 video. All that really applies to Andy. You just gotta account for his floor to your hop hard, figure out some more cross-up setups. His normal throw is a hard knockdown, so that lets you really go to town with safe jumps setups. Go for a cross-up wherever you want. His HD combo is really simple. Really, his only hard knockdown I can think of is his normal throw, so it's definitely a good one since he gets that cross-up off. I guess you can kind of get a cross-up off of that. You can get a safe jump off that, certainly, so that's super, it gives you a knockdown. His Neomax, follow-up maybe. I don't know if that's a safe jump necessarily. That's a meaty, so you can definitely do a little follow-up after that on his corner zone. Sweep is a soft knockdown, so usually, no really cool follow-ups unless you look at the quick tech to throw them. Just whenever you quick tech, you erase all throw and roll my wake up. Or you can try to do that against the get a close seat because you can't throw them for like 8 or so frames. Otherwise, yeah. You want to work your setups with Andy, some cool blocks for you with your offense. To hit confirm, you definitely want to get down that crouch B forward A, because that's a really important chain. It's not a link or anything. Andy really doesn't have any links. Like most characters, it's all chains. Crouch B forward A. You just got to cancel the crouch B fast. There you go. I don't think that was even the optimal one either. Simple stuff. Effective normals. Only real grounded weakness is that he doesn't have a long horizontal poke. He's further than Farsi. Nothing like Kyo stand B so that long, like he stands C, but he does have the sweep, which is really long. That's really good. It's just that you do have to be ready to risk having them hop over it with the sweep. There's really no helping you once they hopped onto it. But in cases like that, you get hopped on. So his risk like everything. Good fireball. He's a really good character for anyone new to KOF coming in from Street Fighter. You know, you can run a fireball game with people, test observations with that. DP and telegraph jumps or any stupid stuff. DP is a good answer against a lot of stuff, like Punish Anakin, like Iori Rekkas gets you out of that for free. Really pretty simple combos once you just get a feel for the tricks. Really simple combo archetypes, crouch beats and stuff. It'll teach you how to do crouching light attacks and command normals. Really simple hit confirms from the chains. Like close C hits twice. If you really need to go into HT mode, you can just do close C. Activate off that. Whoops. Pretty straightforward character. Nothing too wild aside from his cross steps and things like that, or the cross under steps mid-screen. Or going for some weird hit resets. So he pretty much got a lot of tools. No huge weakness, other than just little minor setbacks. Like his floaty hop, his pretty one-sided jump-ins, but it's not like they're terrible or anything. That's pretty much all he has. Jump speed, jump D, so just predictability can be a little factor for him. But other than that, really no huge weaknesses, a lot of options for everything. He's not really, he's a pretty solid character overall, kind of, pretty much just like a Ryu as you'd expect. No huge flaw like, say, Joe or Vice, who have really difficult trouble anti-airing vertical space, stuff like here. Andy's got his close speed for that. CDP can mess up against cross-ups, you saw that. It's one weakness of it. That's why close speed can be really good, because it's cross-ups really well. DP, not so much. But then he does it. The air-to-air is just like Joe and Vice do. So basically, he's got really good grounding anti-airs, certainly compared to other characters like Kings, who aren't as good in this game now. And even in a situation where something like his sweep loses like it does here, or trades as it is, you got Fardy, other options, air-to-air, and DP. So he's never really pressed just to relying on one option or something, like a Vice having to do her air-to-air to keep people off of her sometimes, or relying on a really early stand jab, which can be really risky because it with crouchers when they're especially if they're on top of you. So you'd have to pretty much commit to a stand jab, hoping they didn't go low. So just because of that, a lot of solid options. He was a really popular character in arcade. He could do just about everything. He's not. He hasn't seen as much tournament play. Doesn't mean he's any weaker. If anything, he really did get stronger in a lot of ways. The sweep got nerfed just a little bit, but other than that, everything else is better. His damage is better overall, I believe. He does a bit of everything. So I'd really recommend him if you like that Shoto style character and you're really coming from a Street Fighter background. So you might dig him. There is the bit, he'll teach you pretty much about every bit of everything you need to know. He won't teach you the game as hard as, say, Niori or Kyo. That would be like we're really running the Ryu of the game, so to speak. But he really does have a lot of cool options too, like his close D anti-air. That's some Kyo and Niori stuff there. That's really nice. You still can do run under anti-airs. jump T is pretty much one-dimensional, but it still covers a lot of the ranges that you will start to recognize when you play the game, type of jumping and stuff. This one's a horizontal and vertical attack. That's why it's a good air-to-air and jumping. And that completely wraps everything up about the Andy video, or masterclass video, so I'm going to be doing more of these, and hopefully you guys like them. And I have a Logic Fighter article, or maybe hopefully I Play Winner article, as I can call it, coming up soon, and I'll be posting that within a short while I publish this video together with it. And so if you have any other character requests or questions, send them to me at QuickMax. Put the stream up. Logo. Here we go. I've had it open the whole time. Wow, I'm dumb. So there you go. You can find the schedule, or by following QuickMax VIP on Twitter, or follow me, Sparkster_KOF on Twitter. Either one will usually post the times I'm going live. Although right now I think Sparkster_KOF has a... Usually I log into that account and post on-the-fly videos just like this, but usually when they're big things I post it everywhere and blow it up so people can find the links to this. And that's about everything. So finally, any other questions, feature requests for these masterclass videos, characters you want to see, characters you want to learn how to fight against, just questions about the game in general, please send them my way, and I will try my best to answer them. I line them up for the next QuickMax stream, which I'm going to try to do another one before MLG, talk about some of the rules and things going down, the players coming, and talk about, I have a few other questions lined up, but I will certainly be ready to answer other ones, or help out whoever needs help. So please, if you want to learn this game, or you have questions, or you're really liking it, just ask me up. I'm the dude who wrote the wiki, so I got a lot of information on me. So I'll see you next time, and I'll hopefully be doing feeling myself a little bit better and not doing it at 5 in the morning. So I guess that wraps things up. So I'll run a few more things for you guys real quick. Pop in or plug in Arcade Shock real quick. If you need to get some fight stick, check out those combo sticks. They're dual modded out of the case. Really, really good sticks. Pretty much like the consensus is they are the best sticks on the market right now because of that. You can't buy anything with PS3 and 360 and PC support. Mad Catz and Hori don't do that yet. So Combo's really blown it up. Don't be thrown off because it's a Chinese brand or anything. This shit's godlike. So you can buy them from Arcade Shock, which is run by SNK Capcom. If you need any other info on KOF 13 besides this stream, you can check out tinyurl.com/SRKOF. That takes you to the hyper guide for Shoryuken. Plenty of information there. It's pretty much the most comprehensive KOF 13 guide out there right now. And other articles are posted on Logic Fighter, like the Max Mode articles I mentioned. I'm going to try to get them when I Play Winner. For now, they're on Logic Fighter, and you can also find those on the SRK Wiki. Just go to the character pages, or even on the front page, and there's a section called KOF articles, and they're all listed there. Finally, check out the YouTube channel where we upload some of the videos, just like this one will be up there on youtube.com/QuickMaxVIP. And then you can follow QuickMaxVIP on Twitter, or Sparkster_KOF for the schedules, because we don't really have a specific weekly schedule thrown out yet. Sorry, things are kind of spur of the moment. A little bit poverty and running on a really like a $30 streaming setup. No. And finally, I'll be going out to MLG, not NCR. It's too far away, and yeah, it would cost more. So I'm going to be monstering out to MLG. So I'll hopefully be seeing a lot of players out there. I think realistically, we're not going to get a huge amount, and I'll talk about this next time on my MLG stream. But of the dudes who are going, a lot of them are very strong players, so it'll definitely be a fun tournament. But please, if you're staying home, be sure to stream Monster both events. I know the MLG stream I've confirmed is at 3. NCR will definitely be streamed by Level Up. So be sure to pop up both. So don't forget about NCR, because there will be good players from Team Chaos, or my dudes Laban and Walkman out there, hopefully doing a little bit better this time. So give them both a shot, support both communities. I don't know how long KOF will be at MLG, but it will certainly be, both of them will be, it'll be a very busy weekend, and there'll be a lot to talk about. So that's all I'll say for now. And then following it up after those events, in April there's Power Up and the Houston Showdown, both of those being EVO seed tournaments. So those will definitely be very exciting. And cool stuff, because who doesn't love the official label tournaments? It's a lot of hype. I'm going to power up. I have that pretty much planned, not Houston Showdown, so I'll try to be blowing up a power up team. So with that, I've dragged things out too long, and I'm going to be closing out. So be sure to play it loud, gamers, and until next time, thank you.